What would I say to new entrepreneurs? I think focus.
Instead of beating them or try to beat them, join them.
Command and control, which was the basic logic in industrial era, is changing to more of a direction of ecosystems where everyone is contributing to the whole.
Vibrant, dynamic and highly creative, the digital startup scene shows no sign of slowing down. In the Netherlands alone, 100,000 new ones are created each year, of which 1 out of 10 is an innovative tech startup. But only half of them survive beyond 5 years.
A good product or a good service or so is just one thing that's going to make you successful. Of course, it's a necessary condition. You need a good product, otherwise you won't be able to become successful. But there are lots of other things that you need.
An idea as such is not that important, even though people tell you that patents are really important. The real trick is in the execution.
I think what I've noticed over the last couple of years is that many of those startups initially come with the idea of being rather protective over the asset that they have and the product that they have developed with their heart and soul.
It might start with a good idea, but bringing ideas to life is where many startups struggle.
I produce the most non-scalable apps on earth. When Facebook launched apps, I was like, what should we do? You know what? We'll do a Facebook app called Ask Gary. You ask me a wine question, and I answer it. That was 8 hours a day for a month. That sucked.
How do you prove your concept? What are the opportunities in today's market? Where can I access research and resources to challenge my strategy?
It's always better to join those that have better access to the customer base. So for us, it's really about collaborating those who are working as channels and are working in the center of those ecosystems.
It's hard to innovate in a really free way. It's hard to fail within a big company because, well, if you fail, your colleagues will think like that you're not a success and they will not trust you anymore. And if you have a small company, you can just, if you have a startup, you can experiment, you can fail all the time and then finally find the right solution.
We think we can do it by ourselves, but if you find a partner, you can really move forward much quicker.
Well, we at WeFilm have the goal to become the most creative and innovative film production company in the Netherlands and maybe even abroad. And the main thing that we have to achieve is to get into those projects that enable us to become unlimitedly creative without any compromises. And the only way to do that is to stay independent.
We decided that we need to work together with companies like KPN because of the simple fact that we enter a phase where big retailers came to us and they say, listen, Zapfi, we would like your solution to deploy in hundreds of our local offices. And it's not really Zapfi's specialization to provide connectivity there, to do the installations, etc. So that's why we went, for instance, to KPN and asked, are you interested in collaborating with Zapfi?
We have, of course, in-depth knowledge, and particularly on the implementation way of things. Because it's not because you have a product which might be sexy for a customer. You also need to implement it, you need to scale it, you need to make sure that it's completely secure.
You need to be able to commercialize it, you need to be able to market it, to distribute it, and so on. And where smaller companies often have innovative capabilities and can develop good products, they lack all these other things. And therefore collaboration with the larger firms, which may be good at this, often makes sense.
Larger companies can offer access to expert teams with international experience and qualified senior counsel. And they collaborate to win.
I think that the beauty is that you can keep a flexible layer of companies around yourselves that do not get restrained in their creative process. And as a consequence are really satellites to yourselves. So we do not have any benefit in really swallowing those companies.
You see that the nature of innovation has changed quite dramatically. Let's say a decade or perhaps a decade or two ago, innovation was something done within a firm, even in a separate building with a separate security system and so on. Many of these companies have quite literally started to open the door in terms of open innovation, and we see that they work with multiple parties.
what startups need is the ability to operate relatively independent with or within the big company, so that you can keep up with the speed. So ideally there's a smaller team within the organization who takes care of the cooperation with the startup.
We know from research that therefore the most radical innovations, where 20 years ago you would trace back in what companies they originated, nowadays you actually can't point to a specific company and you see that they start in sort of networks of companies.
So I think it comes back always to the expression everybody knows, if you can beat them, join them. And of course they can beat us because they have lots more cash in their pockets than we have. But there are two things that they don't have. That's time, it's going extremely fast, and also capacity. There are a lot of services, new services blossoming everywhere. So you cannot try to build everything yourself. So instead of beating them or try to beat them, join them.